So lion tamers, do we have guests in the house today? I think we do.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions, and a couple of guests.
Okay.
First one is past president or past district governor Mark Manziel. And Greg Firth has a guest he'd like to introduce.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions, guest. I have a guest today. This is Saul Vidal, second week with us.
All right.
Welcome, Saul. We're glad you're here. Yay. Okay. Tail twisters. You think anybody's got something to be happy about out here?
I don't know. We'll find out. Money, 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 money. Secretary, are you going to put money in this little container? Very well. Yay, what a guy.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I've got a quizzitive happy dollar today.
Somebody was asking.
My lovely wife talked me into getting her second super bonus COVID shot this morning.
All right.
We're sitting in the chair, the lady rolls my sleeve up, and she says, now relax your arm. She's standing there with this long needle in her hand, and wanted me to relax my arm. So I finally get the arm relaxed. And the little girl giving the shot says, are you ready? And I said, no, yeah. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. She starts a countdown. 3, 4, I said, come on. Don't go look, see the local doctor.
Your arm's going to be sore tomorrow. And I understand because I got my COVID shot on a Monday and came down with COVID on Tuesday.
Oh, it's all about timing.
All I guess I've got a happy $2 bill. I went down to Las Vegas to get my vitamin D, and now I'm back here starting to rust.
Oops! What's the name on there?
I couldn't read it.
He can't read. Steve?
President Cheryl, Lions and guests, two very, very happy dollars. The reason we do service out in the community is what we did yesterday up at Columbia Heights Elementary School with our Roar for Reading. And I'd like to thank all of those who participated, Eric and Greg and Mark Helch, Marilyn and myself, and who else? And Donna. She didn't get a standing ovation this time, but she read a really cute, and Pat Fulton. Yeah, thank you all. It was a great time.
Wonderful. We had a full contingent. That's great.
Mr. Pat Palmer.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. I only have 4 happy dollars because my brother is broke, but the first one's a happy dollar. He's going to be gone for 2 weeks, so we won't be able to borrow any more money from him. Please. I went to little brother school. They never said anything about having to feed the old ones catch all the time. Golly. The next one is a happy dollar. Jerry left yesterday morning at 3 a.m., of course, because apparently you can only take early morning flights to go to Alaska. Apparently you get to see the sun a little bit sooner if you're up 35,000 feet in the air. So she opened a new restaurant up in Wasilla, and she was very thrilled. She saw snow, and she still hasn't seen a moose. I told her, wait, just wait. The next one is with everybody gone, that means I'll actually have like 10 days of actual peace in my life. Yeah. I'll be able to get some projects done out in my little shop, I'm hoping. And by projects, I hope you guys understand it means beverages. The final, well, I build beverages and then I consume them, and then I build another one. The final happy dollar is, gosh, I hope you enjoyed the 2 days of sun we had over last weekend, because that's it until May.
Pretty much. Okay. Lion, Bill.
President Cheryl Lighton's a guest. Sad dollars and happy. My mother had a stroke just about a month ago, but she's over at the frontier and she's making good progress. Lost all the control of her left side, but she's slowly getting it back. So lots of prayers have been answered, and so hopefully she'll continue. Her goal is to be back at Campus Towers on her own, and she figures she'll be back home in about a month, so we'll see.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, I'm coming around to David. I'll leave that one, John. David, did you want to say something? Here, let me help you stand up. And I'll take this.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests.
All right, David.
Yeah, David.
So, the happy dollar I have is a couple weeks ago, believe it or not, one week I was late, so I didn't get a chance to do the happy dollar last week, but I actually moved into our rental finally. We had, believe it or not, I can't take too long, but we had to stay in a hotel for about 48 days because we had a house, a AC leak in our Ocean Beach Highway house. And so we finally found a rental house 2 minutes away. Thank you.
Thank you. Good deal.
And Mr. Walt.
Yes, Mr. Walt, the hairdresser.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests.
You don't have to take that, Lion Wall.
Have a happy $5 here to in just a couple of days, Marie will be celebrating her birthday.
You might not be.
I know.
You might not be celebrating another one. You want to start the song?
She's only going to be 70.
65.
Yeah, Sweet 16 and never been missed. Sweet 16 and never been missed.
So do we sing now or
Okay,
later?
yeah, what is the actual day? Because that will determine as if I get everybody to sing now or next week. Thursday, oh, that's soon enough. Okay, everybody.
Alrighty.
You want me to lead it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have more birthdays.
Who
Jay.
else? Jay?
Well, okay, so it's a group thing. Start singing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jay and Marie. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, that's enough. Russ? Mr. Case? Whoever you are.
I don't know who I am.
It's a whole case of Russ.
President Lions, fellow Lions and guests, it's good to be here again. And one thing, I got a happy dollar. The happy dollar's for our senator in Hong Kong. Looking forward that he comes back a little smarter than when he left.
You know, I think because of his little snafu, when I go to the airport next Wednesday, they'll probably nail me for a hairbrush.
Yeah, that's right.
Just you're gonna have to quit back. God, I know. We know you will. Money, 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 money. Hey, hi, John.
nice to see you. Oh, before I get fun. President Lions, yes. My happy dollar today is, I've been thinking a lot about George Moore. And I wanted all of you to be thinking about George Moore.
Thank you. Eric, you have money?
A married man with money?
I know, married man with children has money.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I put in 2 happy dollars because my oldest son just turned 2 on Friday. We had a great little party for him. So.
We're not singing.
Unless you bring him.
Dr. Mark Manzel.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I've got 5 grateful dollars. And some of you know that I'm running for international director. And in that process, you get a chance to be reflective. And I woke up this morning thinking I'm going to a meeting in Tacoma. And I thought, you know what? I am really grateful for the pioneers in so many ways. And I wanted to point out a couple, give a shout out to a couple that have been really instrumental in my life. And one of them is Mark Kelch. He transformed my thinking around LCIF by understanding how a dollar can transform a life. We can put a dollar, put our Lions love in that dollar, and we can change the world by it. So thank you, Mark. I also want to give a shout out to the Pattersons. Marilyn was one of my superstar zone chairs, and thanks to her and the whole team, we were able to get our district excellence. And so thank you, Marilyn, for all your hard work and dedication. My brother from another mother, Steve Patterson.
He has family.
Yeah, so some people arrive to perfection faster than others, is what I've been told. But 10 years ago, when he was the district governor, was it 10 years ago, right? And he nominated me for a leadership medal, and he said, Mark, you've got leadership written all over you, and you need to become a district governor and beyond. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Steve Patterson. So I just want to give a shout out to my brothers from another mother. So thank you very much to the Pioneers and all that you do for Lions as well as for me personally. Thank you.
Thank you, Lion Mark, for just being you.
Barber Mark.
Whoa.
Just tell him like it.
Are you offered?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests.
I'm not sure how I follow that, but first dollar is a very sad dollar for the major fire at the shoe factory. Many souls were lost. All right, sorry about that. That's why I have $5 for 3 up for. Happy dollar for Aurora for reading. Thank you both to the Pattersons. Phenomenal program we've been doing, and I really enjoy going up there and handing out books to kids and reading stories and all sorts of fun stuff up there. Happy dollar number 2, visitation to Fort Vancouver Lions. Several of us survived Hal Palmer driving. I showed up, I should know better after all the years. I showed up in my car, and the whole back seat is a dog hammock, and I didn't want to take the 5 minutes to move everything out. Remind me never to do that again. I am not driving. If you see those people in the freeway that are in the left lane that kind of vary between 55 and 75, and just oblivious, that's how. Quote of the week from Wayne Dyer. If you believe it will work out, you will see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you will see obstacles.
Thank you, Mark. Hey, Mike. It's your turn. Dude, do you need help getting up?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. Hey Ken, I got a COVID shot Friday, and it's the first time they ever said you may experience flu symptoms. She wasn't lying.
Lion?
Lying. I knew you wouldn't figure that out. I have kind of a request dollar. I talked to Greg about it the other day. There's a lady in the Wakayakum Club that's held that club together for years. Literally years. And I talked to her last Wednesday and asked her if she was coming to our anniversary. And she's living on a shoestring, and she said 65 bucks is just, she can't afford it. I'd like to see if I can get a little help from some of the lions in here. I'm not asking the club, individual lions. I'll kick in 20 bucks if we can get some other help to buy her a ticket, because I'd sure like her to meet Patty Hill.
Yeah. Thank you. Going over to Marilyn Peterson.
Peterson?
Patterson.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. Peterson. Okay. Yeah, well, sometimes people call me Maryland, like the state, or Maryland, or some crazy stuff. I got a happy dollar. You keep talking about roaring for reading, and it made me remember yesterday, this one little girl, she kept looking at me and watching me, and then all of a sudden she comes up and she says, I remember you from last year. And she reaches out and gives me a loose hug, a legal hug, you know? But that was very touching. And then she picked up a book, which is one that Donna read and I think Eric read. She said, I got that book last year, you know? So she was really cool. And it's always so much fun when the teachers come in and say the kids are really excited. You know, the ones that know. And then we inducted a few of them yesterday that are newcomers to the school also. And, you know, they've learned the Lions way of giving books.
Thank you, Marilyn Peterson.
Thank you, Lions. I got the money for Carol.
All right.
Excellent. All right.
Okay, here I am. Great. You're up, dude.
President Cheryl Collins, yes, got a few dollars today. Number one is, keep thinking about our past member, Terry Kegler. They are going to have a service, and so far it's going to be November 10th, I believe it's a Friday, over at Sons in Norway. I don't know if that venue is going to be big enough for Terry.
Yeah, that's true.
The second dollar, besides Terry, I lost another good friend over the weekend, a guy named Vic St. Ange.
Oh, no.
Vic had been suffering from severe COPD, and he got messed up over in Vietnam at the same time. And the other dollar is I really enjoyed the kids up there at the school. Those kids are unbelievable.
Cindy?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. Today I have 10, well, first I'll do the sad dollar. Last week I was sick with whatever, I don't know. I isolated myself for 8 days, but it was horrible. But the best part of this, the rest of the $9, is Jim and I celebrated 35 years on Sunday. Thank you. I know that's longer than some of you have been around, but that's what it is. We have reservations to go to the new restaurant. And because I was sick, Jim went and got a steak and some lobster tails and potatoes and made me breakfast or dinner and served it to me. And he had to make sure the presentation on the plate was picture perfect. Of course.
Oh, excellent.
All right. Anybody else?
Oh, there's a couple over here waving.
Anybody else?
Never mind, it's just now.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. How many missed me last week?
Nobody.
I was in Las Vegas, so this happy dollar is for the convention I couldn't give a happy dollar for last week. And this is the happy dollar. I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. And if I had another dollar for my brother, I'd put a sad dollar for Terry Kegler, because that just blows me away. Blows me away.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? All right.
That wraps it for tail twisting anyway. Hal, you're the segue. Don't get too far away from there. Okay, come back. Okay. Come back. Because Lion Hal is going to introduce our speakers today, the has-beens. I'm stealing your thunder, so I think I'll just shut up now and turn it over to you.
So, President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, former legislator, city councilman, mayor, county commissioner George, could you come up front here and have a seat? Former city councilman Ken Botero. Can we have the other mic up here too? Yeah, the other microphone. So I've got 2 seats. There is supposed to be a 3rd seat. Has anybody seen Bob Bogason in a while? No. He said he would, but his phone number and his email all went walkie. Oh, you don't want a tall chair? So, this is our other set of twins. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I can't figure out where they're sitting.
Okay. Over the years, a lot of people ask questions of elected officials that they really can't answer until they're a former. So, if you have those questions out there, be prepared for them. But I've picked their interest. If you look at it, George, how long were you in the city council? 8 years, you're mayor for 4 of it, right?
Yes.
So 4, and you're a legislature for 2 years, that's 6. And how many years as a county commissioner?
Up until they found out about me.
So is that 12? 12? Okay, is that 20 years?
That comes as 22.
22 years. Now Ken, you were in the city council for how long?
13 years.
13 years.
Oh my God.
Isn't it amazing? I was there for 15 and 1 year doing another job up in Olympia. So the questions I have, we'll start with you, Ken. Thinking about your experience there, what do you think was the best part of that? What was the best part?
After thinking about all this and the questions you presented me,
Right.
I got thinking about things and how special it was that I was able to go 3 consecutive years on the Longview City Council without any true challenges.
With 2 challenges, 3 elections.
So that really made me feel good and proud that the people in our community trusted me and approved of the theory and the direction we wanted to have. That is inclusion, the people in the community.
Okay.
And I think that is, to me, was a real blessing that they approved, but they thought enough of me to return me to the seat 3 times without challenge.
Okay. George, what's your answer to that question? I gave you longer because you're older.
Quite a bit over. Would you repeat the question?
Yeah.
There you go.
Did you remember it?
Yeah, I remember the question.
Yeah.
What do you think was one of the highlights or happiest moments in your public service?
The happiest moment.
There was something positive that happened.
I don't have a happiest moment. I can generically say that the ability to serve, the opportunity to serve, and do not just complain about things, but actually be in a position to maybe change things, as long as you have the support of your constituents, was very gratifying.
And I guess I would share my happiest. It's a real minor thing to the citizens of the 19th district. A lady came into my office one day and said, my ex-husband took my son to Oklahoma. What do I do? Now, when you look into this, you discover that Oklahoma has 0 extradition agreements with any state in the union. And I'm sitting there going, good God, what do I do? So I asked her to write a letter. As you recall, Steve Largent was a congressman out of Oklahoma at that time. I said, I'm going to be at a fundraiser in a couple of weeks, but I want you to write a heartfelt letter to Steve Largent explaining the circumstances. And that was it. And I've used this method. Anybody that's ever been in real estate, you use this method to help a lender do something. So the fundraiser, I presented that letter to Steve Largent. I was going, wow, I wonder if this is gonna work. 4 months later, I get a phone call. The lady has tears, she's crying, I got my boy back. So, just so you know, there's always a way to get something done in government when government says you can't do it. Okay, what's another good question? George, let me see. You were mayor, you were chairman of the commissioners, you were, which committee were you on the legislature? You were on 4 different committees? Which one of those 3 things was the most fulfilling? Yeah.
Well, I really appreciated my opportunity as county commissioner because it combined not only the opportunity for public service, but also the ability to apply some of my background in administration. Because the county commissioners are responsible for the administration of 500 plus employees. And most county commissioners get elected because they're pretty, you know, like me.
Yeah, okay. It's been some time since somebody was pretty there.
But maybe you don't have administrative skills. And we did some things that were pretty standard for those of you who worked in organizations. There was no salary structure. Whoever petitioned and got salary got an increase, and that created sort of a pecking order. So we put in a salary structure, we put an evaluation, employee performance structure, that sort of thing, and treated people as though they were part of the team.
Okay.
Part of the question?
Yeah, it's okay, but I was thinking saving the landfill was a pretty big deal, wasn't it? For the citizens?
It's one of the things I will always look back on as positive. I took the lead in negotiations when that first came up for Weyerhaeuser. My 2 colleagues had rotated, and last I had 2 different colleagues by the time we closed the deal, the landfill, and there was controversy, there always is. Anything you do that's worthwhile, there's people on both sides. We try to listen to both sides, but that's pretty determined to move forward. That landfill is now returning, I think, $7 million a year to the general fund. And
That wasn't coming in before.
It was not coming in before, and the alternative was for us to haul garbage east to put our money in Cluckajack County. And our rates are still the lowest in Western Washington.
So Ken, how would you answer that question?
Well, my biggest thing was the opportunity I had to serve for 11 of my 13 years on the Association of Washington Small Cities. Terrific group of people that get together and we work on things that we necessarily don't look at what's going on in our own community because we see what's happening somewhere else. And we can make the difference and changes. See what's coming down the road and work on it together. And with that, you bring that back to people in the community and start to work on things. And one of the things I really loved the most that I ever did was the community forums we had every month, where I rented a building or an office and had the community come in and we just talked about things that were on their mind and concerns and what they thought we should be doing. These are things that the city is planning on making happen. The citizens get together and they start talking about things and they say, well, wait a minute, did you ever look at it this way? If you know I didn't, maybe I ought to take a look. So we take a look at it. We also invited to have city staff there at times so they can answer the questions. So when we have people that come up with a different kind of an idea and our engineer's sitting there saying, wait a minute, well, when did you come up with that idea? So we sit there and we come back, and I was really surprised in some of the surprises I had on the council was how often our city staff changed directions on things because of what people in the community forum were talking about. It made much more sense instead of looking everything at a textbook and sitting in front of you. If you take a look at what reality is and what's out there in front of you, what's really happening, maybe we need to take a different avenue and look at it. So I was very proud to be able to serve on this city as we took part in listening to other communities and what was going on and taking a vision of what's going to happen in the city of Longview coming down the road. So to me, that was a very good blessing, and it was things that the community really got involved with.
Cool. I was just sitting here thinking, one of the things I'm most proud on the city council is saving the Columbia Theater. George put a lot of effort into not bringing the vote to fruition until I had agreed to support it. And if you know my background, the Columbia Theater was always a historical building. My love of historical buildings goes far and wide. I mean, I can speak back to the house that my brother and I grew up partly in on a beach on Manchester, made by our grandfather from rocks on the beach for the foundation. So it's always been a foundation, and he appealed to that. And I gotta say, saving the Columbia Theater, and I think where it's gone today proved it right, yet it cost me. Cost me the county commissioner election in '84. Because as Terry Kennison said, your own team tackled you on the 1 yard line. And going, just like the Seahawks, right?
How may I add to that? When that theater suddenly became available, we were in the middle of recession. We laid off city staff. We'd actually raised sales tax by 0.1%. A lot of opposition to our buying this private property and building on this company that said it would tear it down and build a multi-screen cinema. There was a group in the community, Columbia Theater Task Force, advocating for it. And as Al said, we had a split council. We could have taken a vote the first night and passed it 4-3. I've been mayor for 3 months, I think, when it first came up. But we worked it, and actually, in the end, by getting everybody's input and getting everyone's objections addressed and not totally taken care of, they have a much better agreement, and we want to pass it 7-0 required. So.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing. Was Barry on the council at that time?
No.
No, Barry was after that.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, well, that's right. We'll tell you stories about Barry Morrow if you want to hear them. Oh, we got another question. Any questions out there from your people, the audience? Patrick.
Hey, now that we're watching the Fisher Plain water treatment plant be demolished, can any of you speak to how it was that really had to happen? And if you lay it in the ground with the Army Corps of Engineers, that's fine. At least you know who to be mad at.
Well, Ken, who was on the council when that decision was made?
What water treatment plant?
It's not there.
To answer your question, that was on my first challenge on the council, was we got to talking about the water treatment plant and the water system for the city of Longview. We were spending millions of dollars on repairing the equipment at the old water treatment plant. So it made kind of sense we need to look at something that's going to solve that problem. We had engineering staff, we had people coming from outside the community, engineers and stuff, to give us all the information that they thought we needed. As we came down, we found that because of the lack of federal funding for the big water truck coming down from the Chula River into the new water treatment, into the old water treatment plant, that the expense was going to mount up to quite a few $1 million each year to keep that plant in operation. Did we want to spend the money to keep feeding a plant that was dying? The question from the council came, and I had a hard time understanding some of it, was that no, we need to take a look at an alternative source of what we need to do. Therefore, they started the program to investigate, take a look at what's going on and what we can do to make an improvement. Make a long story short, as we come up to the final conclusion, what people had wanted, they wanted to go to the mint farm. Ecologists told us that this was the best place to go because the water came not from the groundwater that was there, but from the Columbia River aquifer, which made more sense. The Columbia River would have to go dry before the city of Longview would go dry. So, with a lot of the people concerned and with questions, that opens the door just as a door opens to anything, that you sit and look at something that's going to be a positive result, and you'll have the other side step forward and start looking at other questions. A lot of other good questions arose. Jim Fisher was one of the most outstanding people to come and explain to us the concerning of the water problem and how to solve it and how to fix it. When you have a bunch of sharp, educated engineers telling you what's going on and what needs to be done. Now, when you take and sit in council and sit and listen to some of these things and going through some of the papers, and I'll be very truthful with you, I've had a lot of books, 2 to 3 inches thick, that I had to go through to try to make sense of what's going on. That's why I thank Jim Fisher tremendously. He always took me aside and we sat down and went through some of the things and concerns. When you bring some of the concerns up, you have to have a positive affirmation from all 7 council members to make something take place. When you have 2 council members, or maybe 3, that don't really have a complete understanding of what's going on, then you start having more and more questions arise. We went through several years with those questions, trying to find out what was taking place and what was going on. The final conclusion came that through the financial side of things, we would be far better off to build a new water treatment plant and save the money that we would have lost on the maintenance and repair of the old water treatment plant. Therefore, it moved to the mint farm where they started service and working. From that point on, I will, and I always will, take part of the point of finger saying you screwed up. But it's something that they had to work on. And each time you have a problem with something, you have a solution to get it fixed. They were working on getting it fixed and making things happen. It has been really a heartbreaker on some of the things that people don't listen to other people. When a community gets together, they have the yes and the no's. And that's what it's all about, the yes and the no's. We thought the best decision was going to be to go ahead with the Mint Farm water treatment plant. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Yeah. 1 second. George and I were on the city council in Mount St. Helens. You got to meet the president, didn't you? Yeah. And I got to tell you, that type of thing caused so many problems in the city of Longview. Out west Longview, you notice how the roads are horribly cracked? The water table came up 4 feet from where it was. Now just imagine if you're a piece of concrete floating on 3 feet and it comes up 4 feet. What's going to happen? It's going to crack. George?
Well, didn't have the joy of being on the council when the water issue came up, but I would like to make a comment. The city council made a decision that I would have also made, and one of the problems most people have with the water today is the silicon in the water, which is not a health hazard. I've heard of guests coming from Europe to bathe in the water out of Stevenson hot springs because it's got a lot of silica in it. They make it good stuff. But it does spot your car, your glassware, and go to parity on it. I don't know what to say. And the issue there is that the consulting firm and the engineering firm, I think, were a little deceptive. When the Longview Council said, I want to see how this water looks compared to EPA standards, They were all excellent, because silica is not restricted or controlled by EPA for water drinking quality. It's not a health issue. They saw those high numbers, they were there, and they should have warned the council saying, and by the way, you got really high silica, might cause you a problem. They didn't. The data this council had, they made the right decision.
Yes, and I look at the complication factor of the whole thing, because I drive by that place going down all the time. And I look back to Lloyd Inman was assistant city manager when we put in the emergency bucket out there. And that was designed to clear water, sand away that was coming down the river. And it did a fine job. What it did create, though, was the filter system inside of the water plant needed to be cleaned once or twice a day instead of once or twice a week. And that's where much of the cost was in there. Looking at the engineering reports, I think deceptive is a very nice word that you use, George. Very deceptive. Any other questions? Hey, Russ.
Yeah, I've always wondered in looking at Longview, in that you see other cities that have developed their waterfronts for recreational purposes and for commerce or restaurants or whatever. And I look at Longview, which has 3 rivers in their names, and then I look at Kalama, what they've done down there with their waterfront. I look at Vancouver and see what they've done with their waterfront, and I look at Longview, and I keep hearing this comments about we're an industrial town. We have to be built on industry. Well, why have Longview council commissioners not made some effort to develop our water river?
Russ, not to cut you short, but this is a thing of what we did, not what we're doing. When we talk about all of the repairs and the good things that the Kalama and Cass Rock and everybody are doing, those are things we're working on today.
Well, why aren't you working on the waterfront?
Remember, we're not there anymore. Yeah.
Well, I mean, why weren't you?
Okay, it's kind of funny. Rich Kirkpatrick, George and I served together. Rich Kirkpatrick had this fantastic idea, but it would involve getting rid of a company called Reynolds. Oh, they're gone anyway, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Warehouser and Fiber. It was a great idea. Now, how many jobs would we have lost if we got rid of those 3 things? Anybody got an idea?
8,000.
About 8,000. All right, okay, that's one answer. The second answer is when we were working on some ideas for the Cowlitz River, Mount St. Helens Loop, and made it, for a while, unusable. George?
Well, the other thing we need to remember is when R. Long founded the city, he did not put the city limits up to the waterfront. He put in industry there. And once you cross industrial way, you're in the county. So the city has no waterfront on the Columbia River, which is where we really would love to see it developed. Now the port has that. They haven't had the vision and the motivation Kalama has. They also have a different environment with the working longshoremen that are at the port site, so they have to work through them in anything they do. Kalama has a little bit more flexibility, but I'm 100% fan of Kalama and Port of Kalama, and wonderful things they've done both for industry, jobs, and for recreation for the community.
Were you there when the marina was given to the county? Were you involved in that decision? Willow Grove?
Willow Grove? Oh, the county gave that to the port.
Yeah, the county gave that to the port. Yeah.
And that's the first time the Port of Longview, I believe, has made an effort to fulfill part of their mission statement, which is for recreation as well as for industry. And they are doing a good job for Willow Grove, I think.
Okay, that's about the best we can answer that. I'm sure everybody was here. What do we got? 12 till? What other questions might you have? What?
2 minutes.
3 minutes? John. The closest thing I came to something like that, we had somebody testifying on some land out in Mid-Valley, and they were complaining about they're going to let apartments build there. It was a planned unit development, and I said, well, if you don't want to do it, you can buy it. Oh my goodness, I took heat on that one, didn't I, George? Yes. That's the closest I can.
I had a headline that took me that close, but it wasn't true. We had emergency support shelter, which is for battered women, temporarily had a building next to the county. And there was, we had started a public defender office. We had our attorneys there temporarily, and someone complained that these attorneys, these clients coming into the public defenders might see family that they were involved in goes up in pending court action. One of the women that were there complained about these people. And so the reporter talked to me about it, and I just give my background quickly. I came from a home that was domestic violence, okay? My wife served many years on the board of emergency support shelter. Hal and I voted to help first fund them. The very first money they ever got from the city of Longview, $20,000. And the reporter talked to me about it, and I said, well, you know, they're just coming in to see their lawyers. I mean, they might bump into these people in line the same way too, because they're not incarcerated. They're still pending trial, they're not guilty yet. And I said, I understand I'm being rational, and fear is irrational. So what was the reporter's headline? Commissioner Rader says women's fears are irrational. And they wrote the article all with innuendo, nothing, and I was really upset about it. I got a letter to the editor about what a jerk I was. I called up, I was going to go talk to the editor and the support shelter director and the board chief, which was the, I think it was Andy Alvin. Anyway, they said they were already going to go down and talk to the editor because they knew that I wasn't. And I went down and talked to him. They said, well, did you think this article is not factual? Well, no, but if you read it, even without the headline, it implies I'm this way. And once you start off with that headline in front of it, you know it's all bad. That's about as close as I came. I still haven't quite let that one down, of course.
Now, Ken, he never said anything.
That's right.
Ken was always a quiet listener. Any last comments, Ken?
The last comment, you wanted to talk about somebody interested in running for a position,
right?
Elected
This
position.
is what you're looking forward to, Spencer, Eric. Just want you to know.
Well, not to jump ahead of things, because elections are a little over a week away. Not to jump into anything, but city council position number 3, which is Ken Bottero.
Okay.
The only thing I want to tell the candidates that would be interested in any position, folks, when you are running for a position and you're elected, you elected and win that position, you become an employee of the citizens of the community. Take the earplugs out and start listening to what the people have to say. I was very proud of the fact that when we talked about the homeless issue, I held a special meeting at the Women's Clubhouse to talk to both sides, and it was moderated. When we talked about things that we want to hear from politicians, one of the most outstanding orators we have, Mark Kelch, joined me, and for 3 solid years, we had one of the most fantastic candidate forums to come and talk to the people. Don't sit there and say, who did you vote for?
Yeah.
Sit there and say, this is who I'm voting for. Mark the ballot the way it should be marked, because you know who you're voting for. Take the D and the R clear out of things and pay attention to what's going on in your community.
One last question. Would you do it again?
Would I do it again?
If you were healthy.
Yes, I missed it very
George, would you do it again if you were healthy?
He's got nothing to do with it. He's about 40 years.
Yeah, about 40 years. The answer is so. You're all wondering why I did this program. Charter members of this Lions Club were the mayor of City Longview. 2 other council members, charter members of this 100 Years Club. Cheryl?
Thank you. wonderful, and you did a masterful job keeping a damper on most of the politics. Thank you for that. And I will tell you, I did not put out some mugs for you as speakers. So if any of you just can't stand the idea of not getting a mug for having been a speaker, come see me later. Okay.
Application for membership.
Okay. Sunshine report. Ann?
So Terry Pegler, his family, we have a card and we have flowers sent today.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have one quick thing I wanted to do, and I think we just have time to squeeze it in. I have a I got caught serving card here, and our little lion keychain that goes with it. This is for Lion Rick Johnson. Rick, would you come here, please? Well, he's coming up. I'll just tell you what it's for. Rick has spent 4, maybe 5 years of providing and running his tractor at North Lake School Garden lot to load compost for delivery to the Longview School Gardens every few months. That is service in action. And not only has Rick been masterful at shoveling the horse pucky, he even provides it because he's got an arena and has had horses. So, yeah, there you go, Rick. Thank you for being a servant.
Have to stand next to her?
Yeah.
Shorten up there, Missy.
Thank you, Rick, for serving.
Good job.
One of those quiet servants that just does what they do. Okay. Now, committee announcements. Oh, I have something to share with you, too. We may have another little job for the seamstress who recently sewed on our Melvin Jones patches onto our other banner that's not back yet, because we have been given from a year ago's International President, Douglas X. Alexander, a letter congratulating us and each of our members on earning the enclosed $50 per member average banner patch, recognizing the club's cumulative support of Lions Clubs International Foundation. And here's a copy of the banner patch. So we'll get her back here. We'll have it sewn on. And so thank you all for your generous giving. Ann has something she wants to say to us.
Yep, President Cheryl, Lions and guests, we have a couple of visitations set up. One is for next week on the 1st. So that's November 1st, Wednesday. That's a visitation for Longview Early Birds. That's at 6 p.m. at Canterbury. And then also November 6th, the following Monday, for Kelso Lions, meeting on Church Street in Kelso. So if you can sign up for those visitations, that would be great. There's either lunch or dinner. And then also we have a group sign up for Castle Rock Food Bank, and that's going to be on November 9th. Serving at the food bank.
Working there. Yes, working to help load the shelves and put away the food, or maybe distribute the food. Lion Terry.
Thank you, President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. I have an awards meeting, awards committee meeting over there after the meeting.
Over there.
Thank you. There's a couple more of you I had asked reports today or talk today, but we're running a little short on time, so with your approval, Bob, we'll roll that back to next week. I just wanted to say a couple of things. As you have probably heard, those who hadn't heard have gathered, our lion Terry Kegler has passed. And did you want to say anything more about that, Craig? Okay. I want you to know, too, that we're on the side table. Let's see, where did I put this? Somewhere. On the side table, I have about 5 each of our current roster and our current committee lineup. So if some of you would prefer to have a paper copy of one or the other or both of those, grab one today, and if we need more, I can always print some more or I know somebody who's a printer who can do it too for us, so. Yeah, so if you need a current roster and you want to see the committee lineup,
I'll pull the winning.
then grab one on the table before you go out today.
Tickets?
Tickets. Let's do our blue ticket, the 50-50. It's growing, the pot's growing fairly healthy, I think. What?
He has an announcement.
Oh, you still have another announcement to make. Go ahead. I am really good at you, aren't I?
Yeah, well. Okay, Greg, here.
Greg wants to share with us.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I've got a few quick announcements. Yesterday, Mark Kelch from our club and Tom Guntz, Early Edition Rotary, and myself met with Kathy Bates over at the Cap Food Warehouse. And it was, after a long discussion, we determined that walk and dock is no more as we know it. We're going to try to figure out some way of replacing it, but it's gone down to the point where it just isn't worth the time. You're exactly right.
Yeah,
We'll do all that. Second announcement, real quick. Power of the Purse. We did this with the United Way last week. We helped them set up their gala event. I want to thank Jay Pruitt, Sharon Nolan, Ann Carrada, Shannon Nardine, Josh Huff, Marilyn Patterson, and there were 7 of us over there. And they really, really appreciate it. We put in about 2.5 hours each. And the third announcement real quick, I do have membership apps with me. And if you need me to talk to somebody that's interested in the club, I'll be more than happy to do it.
Excellent. Oh, good. Okay, thanks, Greg. Important stuff. And before we do our ticket drawing, yes, you.
Who, me? President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. First, how many here would be interested in hearing about a potential environmental cleanup project in the city of Longview? What? No, I just want to see if we're going to have any support for it. But it's a potential 100th anniversary project. I will be sharing more with you soon. And don't forget to sign up for the 100th.
After the board discusses it. Okay. Now, one more quick thing, and then we'll do our ticket drawings. Here is a card from Dick Sorensen. A thank you card by way of Keith Stark, who also is not feeling very well right now, I understand. But Dick says, thank you for your card calls and get well wishes. I'm looking forward to attending meetings again very soon. Thank you, Dick Sorensen. We must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. Joseph Campbell. Have a great week, Lions. See you then.